Long before smartphones, social media, and constant notifications, life in the 1970s felt slower, simpler, and many would say happier. This video takes a heartfelt journey back to a decade when everyday moments brought genuine joy. Human connection came first, and happiness was found in the little things we now take for granted. If you grew up in the 1970s, this video will unlock powerful memories. And if you didn't, it may help explain why so many people still feel nostalgic for a time that seemed far less complicated than today. A slower, calmer way of living in the 1970s. Life wasn't ruled by urgency. There were no buzzing phones in your pocket, no endless emails, and no pressure to be constantly available. People moved through their days at a natural pace. Evenings were quiet. Time felt fuller, longer, and more meaningful. This slower rhythm reduced stress and allowed people to truly enjoy the moment they were in. Neighborhoods in the 1970s felt like extended families. People knew who lived next door. Children played safely in the street, and doors were often left unlocked. Borrowing a cup of sugar wasn't strange, it was normal. There was trust, familiarity, and a sense of belonging that made everyday life feel secure and comforting. Real conversations happened in person, where you could see the twinkle in someone's eye, or hear the genuine warmth in their voice. Social skills developed naturally, through practice and patience, not through emotion. Laughter was something you heard and shared in the same room. A sound that echoed, instead of being typed out as LOL. It was a time when listening was a cherished skill, and human connection was the most valuable currency we had. People in the 1970s generally owned fewer things, but they cherished what they had. Instead of a throwaway culture, there was a repair and reuse mindset. When a radio broke, you tried to fix it. When a shirt got a hole, it was mended. This approach wasn't just about saving money. It fostered a deeper appreciation for craftsmanship and the value of material goods. Gifts felt more significant because they were less frequent and chosen with more thought. This simplicity reduced the constant financial pressure to keep up, creating a sense of contentment with what one already possessed. Childhood in the 1970s was an adventure defined by freedom. Kids were trusted to roam their neighborhoods, build forts in the woods, and organize their own games without constant adult supervision. You were told to be home when the streetlights came on, and that was the only rule that mattered. This independence nurtured resilience, problem-solving skills, and a powerful sense of imagination that couldn't be downloaded from an app. A bicycle was your passport to the world, and every afternoon held the promise of a new discovery, turning childhood into a grand, unscripted journey. Life wasn't dictated by the constant demands of technology. Without smartphones buzzing for attention, people's minds were free to wander, to daydream, or to simply be present. Television was a scheduled event, with only a few channels to choose from, turning shows into family gatherings, rather than isolated binge-watching sessions. Silence was a common and often comforting part of daily life, a peaceful backdrop that allowed for deeper thought and relaxation. The inability to be constantly reachable meant that your time was truly your own. For many, the 1970s offered a level of financial stability that feels like a distant dream today. It was a time when a single, steady income could often support an entire family, covering the mortgage, bills, and even a modest vacation. This economic security meant less underlying anxiety about debt and the future. Expectations were more modest, and contentment was found in simple, attainable goals, rather than an endless pursuit of more. This stability provided a solid foundation for family life, making the world feel a little more predictable and secure. Culture felt more unified because everyone was consuming the same media. Families gathered around the television to watch blockbuster shows, like All in the Family, or M*A*H, and the next day, everyone at school or work was talking about the same episode. The radio played songs that transcended generations, from the rock anthems of Led Zeppelin to the soulful melodies of Stevie Wonder, creating a shared soundtrack for society. This common pop culture created a powerful sense of connection and a pool of shared memories that made people feel like they were part of something bigger than themselves. Life was lived outdoors far more often. Instead of scheduling a hike, people simply spent time outside as a natural part of their day. Kids played in the yard until dusk. Families had picnics in the park, and a walk around the block was a common evening ritual. Fresh air and sunshine weren't seen as commodities to be consumed, but as an ever-present part of a healthy, balanced life. Physical activity was seamlessly integrated into daily routines, not confined to a gym, making people feel more connected to the world around them and to their own bodies. Perhaps one of the most significant sources of happiness was the clear line between professional and personal life. When you left the office, your work was done. There were no emails to check, No urgent Slack messages to answer, and no expectation that you would be available after hours. Home was a sanctuary, a true escape where you could fully disconnect and recharge. Weekends were sacred, reserved for family, hobbies, and rest. This separation created a natural life balance that prevented burnout and allowed people to feel present and engaged in every aspect of their lives, without feeling constantly overwhelmed. From the quiet calm of an evening to the simple joy of playing outside, the 1970s offered a different kind of happiness, one rooted in simplicity, connection, and a slower, more deliberate way of living. While we can't turn back the clock, remembering these simple things can inspire us to find more balance, meaning, and genuine joy in our own modern lives.